The first thing I remember was the heat of two suns blazing across the alien sky and the ground beneath my boots shimmering like hammer bronze. I had crash-landed here on this world, whose name I could not pronounce, and whose people I could barely understand, yet somehow I was still alive and breathing their air, their atmosphere, thick with spice and smoke. I stumbled into their village, not knowing the customs, not knowing the dangers, not knowing that with every step I was walking into something that would change my life forever. The tribe was gathered in a wide circle around a pit of glowing embers and carved stone idols depicting beasts with fangs, claws, and burning eyes. They were warriors, and their women stood tall with painted skin and braided hair, their eyes sharp. Like blades, the men towered over me, their muscles carved from years of battle, their voices booming like thunder. I thought they would kill me or maybe chain me, but instead they pointed at me and shouted words I could not understand. The crowd roared, the women beat their spears against the ground, and I realized too late. They thought I had come participate in something, a trial. I shook my head, I raised my hands, I tried to say no, but my words were drowned in their chants. In drumming, I was shoved forward into the center of the ring. My body ached from the crash, but adrenaline surged through me. The chief of the tribe, a giant with golden tattoos on his arms, declared something that made the crowd erupt in cheers. I did not need translation to know what it meant. I was now part of their contest. Two warriors stepped into the ring, circling me. One carried a hooked spear, the other a bladed gauntlet. I had nothing but a broken piece of metal from my shuttle. I wanted to shout that this was a mistake, that I was no challenger, no threat. But survival screamed louder than fear. The first warrior lunged at me. I ducked purely by instinct. The hook slicing the air above my head. The second swung his gauntlet, and I stumbled backward, tripping on a stone. The crowd laughed, roared, and jeered, yet when the warrior charged again, I rolled aside, and by accident the hook struck the other fighter square in the chest, dropping him into the embers. The crowd gasped and screamed with approval. I was horrified but alive. The second warrior advanced, rage burning in his eyes. I lifted my shard of metal in desperation. He swung, I deflected, and the shard scraped across his throat. More luck than skill. He fell, and silence fell with him. Then thunderous applause shook the ground. The chief raised his hands and spoke. His words echoed across the arena. Every woman in the tribe threw their arms upward in response, and the men pounded their chests. I stood there confused, breathless, until a translator finally approached me, a younger woman with bright silver eyes. She whispered in broken human tongue, "You won the mating trial. Now the tribe women belong to you." My mind reeled what she explained slowly. This was their most sacred challenge, a battle for dominant survival, and the right to claim the strength of the tribe. Whoever won became bonded to their women, all of them not as slaves, but as mates and protectors. I stammered, "This is insane. This is a mistake." But the crowd would not hear it. They surrounded me, praising me, touching me, shouting my new name, the accidental victor. From that moment, my life was no longer mine. The women of the tribe approached me one by one, each laying a hand on me. Their palms warmed, their voices chanting words of union. They were proud, not ashamed. They looked at me like I was chosen by fate. Their culture demanded that the winner become one with them and provide strength, courage, and future bloodlines. I wanted to refuse, but to them refusal was dishonor, and dishonor meant death. The nights that followed were overwhelming. The women sought me out not with submission, but with fierce determination. They asked of me my stories, my world, my spirit. They were not meek. They were warriors in their own right. And I realized slowly they did not belong to me in the sense I first feared. They belonged with me, and I with them by their law, by their faith. Still challenges arose. The men of the tribe were not all pleased. Some looked at me with resentment. They had trained their whole lives for trial, and I, a weak outsider, stumbled into victory. I overheard them whispering that I would not last, that I would be tested again. I slept lightly each night, waiting for a knife in the dark, but the women protected me, surrounding my shelter with vigilance. Their loyalty stunned me. One evening the chief called me forth. He declared that as the victor, the first must lead the tribe in a hunt, a trial of survival beyond the mountains. I had never seen these beasts. They spoke of towering lizards with armored hides and teeth like swords, yet I had no choice. So I went with the women at my side, their spears gleaming in the firelight. The hunt was chaos. We tracked the beasts through jagged cliffs. Their roars shook the earth. When one lunged at me, jaws snapping, I froze. But the silver-eyed woman leapt between us, driving her spear into its eye. Together we brought the creature down. The tribe cheered once again, not for me, but for us, for the unity that had formed unexpectedly. The chief nodded in approval, and for the first time I felt not like an intruder, but like part of them. Days turned into weeks. I learned their language, their songs, their rituals. The women taught me their dances, their healing arts, their strength. I taught them my own skills with tools, with machines, with knowledge of stars. They looked at me not as an accident anymore, but as destiny, and I began to believe it too. Yet the greatest trial was still to come, for the skies above soon filled with ships not of their making, but of another alien empire, one that sought to conquer the tribes and enslave their people. The tribe prepared for war, but their weapons seemed too small, too primitive against such power. They turned to me, the accidental victor, the outsider, who had brought change. I had to stand before them and lead. I remembered the wreck of my shuttle buried in the sand. I scavenged its energy cells, its weapons, its systems, with the women by my side. We forged something new, a fusion of my technology and their warrior spirit. We built defenses, traps, and weapons alike of which the invaders had never seen. When the Empire descended, we met them not with fear, but with fury. The battle raged across the plains. The tribe fought with relentless strength, the women striking beside me as equals. I used every trick, every scrap of knowledge to outwit the enemy. In the end, we drove them back, their ships burning in the sky. The tribe had won, and I had not just survived, I had led. The chief declared that the ancestors themselves had chosen me. The women stood beside me, proud, unyielding. And though I had come here by accident, though I had never sought to win their trial, I had found something greater than survival. I had found a place where I belonged. And so the story of the human who stumbled into destiny became legend, whispered by fire, sung in chants, my name lost to earth, remembered forever among the stars, not as conqueror, not as master, but as the one who fought beside them and earned the right to stand with their women forever.